Ladies and gentlemen, what's up and welcome to today's video where we're going to be doing a bit of a champion comparison between Morningstar, the character that's being released today, and also Ghostrider in Marvel Contest of Champions. Because I think, in terms of characters, I was trying to figure out, how do we get kind of a handle on Morningstar, because she's a very different champion. But, the more I wrote this down, I've got a big list of pros and cons for both of the characters, the more I think she's going to be compared in terms of, which one do you want to rank up to Ghostrider, because they're both champions that I think are amazing for questing. They're both bleed immune, they're both mystic, they can both nullify, they both can regenerate, and they also both don't need to be awakened to be good, but they both get a nice benefit from it. So in that regard, I think they're fairly similar champions, and I think a lot of people that are upgrading and progressing their rosters in the future are going to be at this point where they may be looking for a really good bleed immune champion for map 6, and they're trying to weigh up the pros and cons for these two characters. So that's what this video aims to do, is to kind of give you the information and the pros and cons and the benefits of playing like one character over the other. So just as a massive disclaimer, at the moment we have a 4-star Morningstar on the account. This is part of the content creators program, so they're giving content creators that have been approved a temporary access to new characters for like a couple of days just before their release. So by this time tomorrow I won't have this 4-star Morningstar on my account, and it's got very strict guidelines, like you can only use it in solo quests and stuff and can't bring it into like Alliance Quest, Alliance War, or PvP. So just as a heads up, it's essentially just for kind of testing and doing some videos on. And we did a very long gameplay compilation video of Morningstar in Act 5 earlier, where we got to the Collector, showed some of her really insane matchups and stuff. So if you want to check that, that is on the channel. But anyway, let's have a little bit of a start by talking about, kind of the pros of Ghostrider in comparison to Morningstar. So the first thing is, I think in the majority of circumstances, Ghostrider has a much stronger and more reliable regeneration, which is based off his heavy attack. If you've played Ghostrider, you'll know just how crazy that regen is, especially if you know how to play Ghostrider, kind of getting the judgment like the Fury, the Bleed, maybe a special 1, and then maybe a special 3, and then using the heavy attack, you've already got 4 judgments, so that greatly prolongs the duration of it, and you can heal up from like 20% to full during that duration, so it's very, very powerful regen. And I think out of the two, like generally, I prefer Ghostrider's regen, but there are some circumstances where Morningstar's regen is a little bit better, and we'll talk about those. The second thing is Ghostrider has the Fate Seal on a special 1, which is just incredibly good ability, because Fate Seal removes all buffs and then also nullifies, prevents the opponent from getting any buffs for a certain amount of seconds. And if buffs are a really big concern in the matchup, there are different ways that you can play Ghostrider to like greatly prolong the duration of this, because if you don't not too familiar with Ghostrider, basically whenever you use a judgment, the next judgment you use has like a plus 75% duration, and this stacks multiple times until you reset it with the special 3, and that expires. So that's another really good thing. Another thing about Ghostrider is you have, while it's certainly not the best power drain in the game, it does come in very useful. You got the power drain on the special 2, which drains 18% of the opponent's max power over 2 seconds. Again, if you've already got a few judgments on, this can be up to 100% if, it's one of the last judgments that you use. So that's certainly, in some scenarios, a really good tool to have, but Ghostrider, he really isn't the best power control champion overall. And then finally, you have the special 3, which, it power locks, it heal blocks, and Fate Seals the opponent for a really, really long amount of time if you have multiple judgments active. So kind of having all 3 of those tied to the special 3, and especially the fact that Ghostrider and Morningstar are both Mystic champions in those matchups with buffs that are proccing, that's going to fuel your power meter quite aggressively. Like that can be really, really powerful. And the final thing is Ghostrider has all that he needs from the first fight, and this is one of the big cons about Morningstar, is she really needs 4 fights to ramp up, and in those first 4 fights you want to use the special 3 quite a bit, and that is kind of the big con about Morningstar. is that. But in terms of kind of downsides of Ghostrider is players will know that kind of in those longer matchups, Ghostrider's damage output really isn't that great. In the short bursty ones, it can be relatively decent because, you know, you 5 combo and end with the medium, and then you get the fury, and then you 5 combo light and you get the bleed, and that's some quite nice burst damage right off the start for those, you know, short arena matchups and stuff like that. But in the longer ones, especially when we're looking at really beefy days in like Alliance Quest map 6, then his damage, you know, he does take quite a while to get down some fights. And also, I guess one of the potential cons of Ghostrider is also the complexity of the character. He's by far one of the most difficult champions to kind of get a handle on and learn how to play both effectively and consistently. But once, you know, you get kind of, you know, you have to know exactly what all your abilities are doing with Ghostrider. It does take quite a bit of homework. He's not a champion that you can just pick up and play mindlessly and expect to use effectively or do exactly what you want. You do need to put in quite a bit of legwork with him, which is kind of one of the things that I like about the Ghostrider. You know, I'm a big fan of these characters that have like these additional layers of depth and just aren't kind of like smash all of the buttons constantly and you know, while not thinking about anything that you're doing. So we're gonna jump over to Morningstar now and talk about some of the pros of that character. So we're gonna filter by 4-star, get Morningstar up there. Info. So the first thing the Morningstar has, which is really, really awesome, we showcased this in the Act 5 gameplay video against the Collector with his special attacks, is at 4 souls, she has a 50% chance to perfect block. Just incredibly, incredibly powerful. Can be used to kind of tank those special attacks that you aren't too familiar with. Also has quite a nice chunk of energy resistance as well. So that's quite a nice pro when it comes to, you know, if you are a player that's not super savvy at intercepting, or, you know, those unfamiliar specials and you just need to tank them. At 5 souls, I would say Morningstar definitely has significantly stronger damage output than Ghostrider. This mainly comes from a lot of the damage on her Special 1. So Special 1 deals bonus energy damage per captured soul on critical hits. So at 550, you'll kind of see in the gameplay video that there are kind of 3 mace swings, and everyone deals a very small amount of physical damage, and then a huge chunk of bonus energy damage. And when you don't crit, it's about 1,500, but when you do crit, it's just short of about 5,000 in terms of damage. So, you know, the Special 1 can potentially deal about kind of 17 to 19,000 damage overall, so it's very, very powerful. And again, this ramps up in like Assassin's range and with boosts and stuff. So Morningstar actually has one of the hardest hitting Special 1 attacks in the entire game when she has 5 souls as the big criteria here. The next thing is Morningstar does not rely on landing a heavy attack to get the regeneration, which is important to kind of bear in mind, because there are scenarios where you can't easily get off like a parry and a heavy attack. Maybe the opponent has like limber and you only have a certain amount of parries, and then it gets to a point where you can't regenerate anymore because you can't get the heavy attack off, and maybe it's a little bit too bait going for a heavy attack right off the bait your opponent's heavy attack because it's a super aggressive AI. So that's one of the things about Morningstar, is that her regeneration is based off the damage dealt, so it's a 20% chance on hit to lifesteal for 50% of the damage done to the opponent. But this doesn't seem to count for energy damage, only the physical damage. So I was talking about those insane Special 1s at the moment. It's only kind of off your basic combo and what is it? Yeah, all your kind of basic special attack stuff, not this huge bonus energy damage that you get the lifesteal. So it's still a decent lifesteal, but again, it isn't anything like super amazing like Blade's lifesteal. Having looked at a lot of the gameplay for that character that's been sent in is absolutely insane, honestly. I think out of like all of between these two characters, like he completely blows Ghostrider and Morningstar out of the water in terms of just pure regeneration. It's just absurd what that character can do. But yeah, that's one of the things. Morningstar does not rely on getting the heavy attacks to get the regen. You also have, now these are very circumstantial, but at two souls you get the special one, which triggers unstoppable for 2.5 seconds, and this can sometimes be quite useful if you're just looking to go ham on the opponent. If you're fighting like really easy stuff and you just wanna go in, that can be alright. But the unblockable, I didn't think the special 2 unblockable was gonna be that good, and then I was in Act 5 on some of the Bane chapters, and it's sometimes really good when you can just have the special 2 that you can fire off at any point and you know it's going to land, it's going to connect to transfer stuff like Bane. So I actually initially reading that I was like, is that going to be very useful? And then it turned out to be like super handy occasionally, but I think in general use it may not be that useful. And the next thing is she can, with her awakened ability, she can reduce power gain, fury, and regeneration on the opponent by up to 50%, and then when either one of these effects trigger, she can gain a buff of one of those procs that's kind of, it's not based on the opponent's proc, it's based on the signature ability level. So if your opponent blocks a fury, that's plus 50% additional attack. If they block a regeneration, it's like a very small, I think it's like just over 14%, 15% regeneration of like Morningstar's maximum health over 15 seconds, and also a 22.5% power gain. Again, these are all kind of values at dupe level 99, which would take a while to get to. So that, you know, they're certainly not character defining, but it's a really nice signature ability to have. And also the power gain gimp as well, you know, might potentially make her a fairly decent champion for fighting Hyperion. I think for Hyperion boss killing, I probably prefer using a Morningstar over a Ghostrider, but I think for like questing in general, an Alliance quest, you know, I'm kind of coming to the vibe at the moment that I kind of prefer the reliability, especially in map 6 that Ghostrider offers with his regeneration. And also the biggest overarching benefit of Morningstar is that she is significantly easier to play than Ghostrider. You know, you don't have to do a huge amount of thinking once you got the 5 souls. It's just a case of spamming the special 1 attack, and if your opponent has a lot of debuffs, so like an Old Man Logan, a group, maybe a Civil Warrior that's spamming their special 1, you can use the special 2, and the special 2's damage is absolutely insane. So yeah, Morningstar, once she gets up to 5 souls, is an absolute wrecking ball. But again, the biggest con of this character is the time, you know, the time of matchup she takes to rank up. So I'm interested to see, you know, how some of the endgame players that are doing map 6, if they decide to go for Morningstar, how they like the character. I'm interested to see kind of some more feedback from the community in regards to kind of Morningstar versus Ghostrider, because I believe once this character becomes a lot more common, that's going to be one of the questions asked for a lot of people that are in this position where they have like a 440 Ghostrider or a 440 Morningstar and want to know, you know, which one should I rank up. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this video today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or perspective on which one you would take to map 6 in Alliance Quest, let me know in the comments below. Apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.